Welcome to this explainer on the first module of Principles of Management. We're going to break down all the key concepts, specifically to help you master the material for your upcoming exam.
So let's start with a key question. How do you really master a multiple choice exam? Because it's not just about knowing the material, right? It's about understanding how to handle those tricky questions and the common traps they set for you.
Here's our roadmap for this session. We'll cover what management is, its 5 functions, the 3 levels, the essential skills, and Mintzberg's 10 managerial roles. And we'll finish up with a high-yield review. Okay, let's dive in. First things first, we need a solid foundation. Let's get a really clear definition of what management actually is.
This definition from Harold Kuntz is great. The crucial point to remember here is that management is a process that involves working with people in an organized structure to achieve specific goals.
Now, this is a very common topic on exams. Is management a science or an art? Well, the answer is, it's both. This table shows it perfectly. It's a science because there's a body of knowledge and principles, but their application, well, that's a skillful art.
And this is a fantastic way to remember that relationship. You need the knowledge, the root, to produce the results, which is the fruit.
Okay, let's move on and see how this builds. We're now going to break down the core functions that pretty much every single manager performs.
So these are the 5 fundamental functions of management. It's really helpful to think of them as a continuous cycle. You see, each one leads right into the next.
All right, now pay close attention. Here is a very common point of confusion, the kind of thing that could easily show up as a trick question on your exam. A lot of students confuse the terms directing and leading. The key thing to remember for your exam is that there's often no real difference. They both refer to that same function of leadership and motivation.
Next up, let's take a look at how management is structured within an organization.
This slide here separates the 3 levels very clearly. For your multiple choice questions, just remember who belongs to each level and what their main responsibility is.
So now that we know the different levels, let's see what kind of skills are needed to succeed at each one.
What's really interesting about this slide is how it connects the levels with the skills. Notice how conceptual skills are most important way up at the top, while technical skills are absolutely crucial for lower management. But human skills, they're important everywhere.
And finally, let's look at the specific hats or roles that a manager wears, according to the research of Henry Mintzberg.
To make them easier to remember, Mintzberg grouped the 10 roles he found into these 3 main categories. So you have interpersonal, informational, and decisional roles. Okay, let's test your knowledge with a practice question, just like one you might see on the exam. So think carefully about the categories and those specific roles we just mentioned.
The correct answer is figurehead. The key here is to tell the difference between a ceremonial duty, which is the figurehead, versus providing internal direction, which is the leader, or giving specific organizational information, which is the spokesperson.
All right, here's another one for you. Just try to remember that diagram we looked at earlier that connected the skills and the levels of management.
So, the crucial point here is that top-level management requires the highest degree of conceptual skill. They're the ones who have to set the overall vision and strategy for the entire organization. Okay, let's finish up with a quick review of the most important facts, the things that are almost guaranteed to show up on your exam.
You'll want to memorize these points. They cover the fundamental definitions and distinctions you'll need to answer a lot of those multiple choice questions correctly.
And that is your complete guide to Module 1. As a final thought, consider which of those managerial roles is the most difficult today. Thinking about this helps connect these concepts to the real world.
Good luck with your exam preparation.